Hello, my crafty friends. Welcome to Stamp with Teah. I am Teah Woodward. I'm an independent demonstrator with Stampin Up, and Thursday nights is my normal night to come and do a Facebook Live with you. And I'm changing things up. So in the past, I've done a mystery stamping every single Thursday night, and we're switching that to one time per month. And the other 3 Thursday nights of the month, I will be demonstrating multiple cards. And with that demonstration, if there's a minimum purchase of $35, I will then send the kit or the make and takes to make those. I can't send any stamped images, but I can send things that have been die cut. So if you like it, and if you've already got the stamp set, or you like it enough that you decide you want to buy it, then you might want the make and take. So something to think about. Hi, Andy. Thank you, and thank you so much. Oh, the sharing is so important for me. So tonight, this is what I'm demonstrating, flowering rain boots. And I've made 3 cards ahead of time. And I was going to post snapshots of those so that you could see ahead of time what I was making. And my editing program says that it's downloading something and it wouldn't let me close it. It wouldn't let me do anything. So I couldn't post those images. So we all have one of those days every now and then, don't we? Flowering Rain Boots is in the January through June mini catalog. It is on page, and I meant to look it up ahead of time and I forgot to. Flowering Rain Boots is on page 30. It's super cute. And I think that you will think so too by the end of this demonstration. So let's see, what else can I tell you really quick? We have a joining special right now. It's the same as before plus more, so $125 worth of product for $99, free shipping on that first order. You get to pick that $125 worth of product, 1 free paper pumpkin, and then the bonus right now is, I'm looking around me because I thought I had it, I know I've got it printed out and I've got a feeling I stuck it in the other room. There's grid paper, there's 5 stamp pads of the new in colors, there's the 5 new in colors of cardstock, and there's one more item. And I can't remember it. This, I think it's, I always forget the same item. I don't know why. Anyway, but it's 60, I thought it was $61 worth of product. I think it's $67 worth of additional product that you get for free. So seriously consider the joining special. So what you get with the joining special is you don't have to run a business like I do. You can totally use it to get the discount, and the discount is 20% off. So something to think about. Let's see, what else do we have going on now? We have, during the month of May, if you make a purchase of $50 or more, so different than, so I mentioned a minute ago that if there's a purchase of $35 or more, I'd send you these make and takes for free. If you bump that up to $50, not only will you get the make and takes, the discount is amazing. Yes, it is. Excuse me. It helps me support my crafting habit. The discount does. This is one of the new things. I'm not sure you can see it with the light. It says Stampin' Up on it. This is one of the new in colors. I need another sip. Excuse me. These new tumblers. And I can tell you that this, I haven't tried cold, well actually I've got something cold in it now, but I tried something hot in it yesterday and it's amazing. So anyway, this is available not just to demonstrators, but also to customers in all 5 colors. And there's other things too. There's other merchandise stuff, which I think I've put in the other room. because I needed room. Anyway, if you bump your order up to $50, I have a May tutorial bundle of 36 projects that you will get for free. I can send that to you in email. And for anyone that makes a purchase of $50 or more, or if it's $100, if you make a purchase of $50 or more, I will put your name in a drawing for a brand new mini cut and emboss machine, still in the packaging. If your order is $100 or more, you put your name in twice, etc., etc. So, okay, that's the boring stuff. Let's get on to having some fun. Okay, this is my first time doing 3 cards like this. I think I'm well prepped. If I'm not, constructive criticism is accepted only. Please be very forgiving of me, but I think I'm well prepped. All right, I'm going to turn my camera down. And so a couple of things have changed on the Facebook Lives, so that was lots of fun navigating at the last second. Here we go. So this is the stamp set and the dies that I'm using. I'm going to grab a tissue. No, I'm not, because they're in the other room. Huh, that's fun. Okay. Everything got moved to the other room, evidently. All right, so here's our flowering rain boots. It's a Photopolymer Stamp Set. You'll see some of these are missing because I have them mounted on blocks already. Let's see, what can I tell you? Photopolymer, and then we have all of these dies. So this cuts out this, these cut out the stems, this cuts out the tulip tops, this cuts out the pot, this item cuts out this, I mean, like, hello. And then we've got a little trowel and a little, I think this is supposed to be like potentially a lattice or something like that. I didn't use this piece this time, but you'll see why. I mean, I've got plenty going on. In addition, I'm using the new, I believe these are called detailed shapes that are in the new annual catalog. These are in my opinion, these are a must-have in every toolbox. Then we have, I'm going to have to grab a tissue, otherwise you're going to listen to me sniffle. Then I have the scalloped contour. This gets used on a couple of the cards. And then the stitched greenery die gets used on one of them. So, if you don't want to have to buy all of these items, you just might want that make and take. I am going to beg 5 seconds of your time. And I'm back. Woohoo! Sorry about that. All right. It is allergy season, you know. All right, all right. The first card that we're going to make is this little sweetheart. How cute is that? Right? Let's do that. All right, so we are using Coastal Cabana for our card base. I'm going to grab my bone folder and score that real quick. So like I said, this is my first time doing the 3 cards. But I happen to love these, and I'm really happy with how they turned out, so I hope you are too. And I saw that I had a little ridge. There we go. I am going to reach behind me and grab a piece of grid paper. I have a piece next to me, but it's pretty dirty and you shouldn't have to look at that. So now I've got a brand new piece. And what I am going to do is going to use a little bit of Coastal Cabana in a blending brush, and I'm going to create this aura in the center. Well, I called it an aura. An aura would be around the outer edge. I am going to, I'm going to center the color. Is anybody else running kind of crazy today? It's been raining horrid bad today, and now I've got blue sky out, and I don't think they were predicting that. Not complaining. So I'm putting the concentration of color in the center. It is going to lighten up, so it looks like it's a little dark at the moment, but it's going to lighten up. And I should have knocked some of that color off. And actually, I think, let's see, if I turn this way, is it still going to be bad? I think if I turn it this way, I'm going to be okay. All right. That's all I wanted. And I can close that up. And I believe that is the only time I'm using that color. So I'm going to set that aside out of the way. So, next thing I am going to do is I am going to adhere that to the center of this basic black that's been cut out with the scalloped contour dies. Has it been there too? Been crazy there too? Yeah. I mean, it's normally by now it's died down a bit, but the weird weather is just continuing on and on and on. My husband works at the Oregon Temple, the Portland, Oregon Temple, and he's a senior groundskeeper there, and they have already lost several flats of flowers, and they are going to lose more because of this rain. Trying to remember if I applied that with, I adhered that down. I will wait to adhere that down until I get a little bit farther in my process. In order to keep this clicking along, because I'm making 3 cards and that's something I'm not used to, I have done a little bit of stamping and die cutting, but I'm going to show you what I did. But you're not going to have to watch me or tolerate me doing the die cutting and such. I just want you to see how beautiful this stamps. And actually, I can take it down a notch. I'm running it full tilt, and I don't need to anymore. I'm here and I'm live, and I can just enjoy the moment. All right, so here's our pot, and for this, I've decided to use Cajun Craze. I have, on other cards, I have used Calypso Coral. That worked well. You could do any color you want to for a pot, but in this case, for this card, I needed 3 pots. So I stamped it 3 times like that. Andy, how was it weird in Oklahoma? What was weird today? Was it weather or just odd in general? And then this card also uses a little seed packet and some flowers. Now, I did not use black to stamp the flowers. I used basic gray, and same thing with the flower pack. So again, I'm just showing you what this looked like. I've actually already stamped and die cut these, but anything that needs to be colored has not been colored yet. So that's what the seed packet looks like. And My tables are opposite of what they normally are too. So if it seems like I'm a little bit lost, it's because things are reverse from normal. And that's what the flowers look like stamped. All right, so those were actually all of the, oh no, that's not all. There's one more, but it's not stamped. It is the little hand trowel that's right here. That is only a die, and then I will color that with the blends. So I've already die cut that. So then what you would do if you weren't preparing for a video like me is you would go ahead and color these and then die cut everything. But like I said, I was trying to save a little bit of time. So I have already taken this sheet and ran it through the machine, and through the magic of television, ta-da! Here are my pots. Here's my seed packet, and here are my flowers. So I just need to color these real quick. Know where this stupid runny nose came from. Did not have a runny nose all day. So I used Flirty Flamingo for these flowers, with one little circle of Melon Mambo on it. And then I used light Granny Apple Green in the center of the flower. I'm going to go ahead and color this trowel while I've got it here, and I can just move it to one side. So for the what would be the metal part, I'm using light smoky slate, and I'm going to use the brush tip, and I'm going to come up to right where I think that the metal would start and just run this over, and it will lighten up. There we go. And then for the wood handle, in my mind it's a wood handle, I've used light Cajun Craze. So I used regular Cajun Craze here on my stamp for the pots. There we go. And now we have a little trowel all ready to go. So there is that. So I colored these using, I started with the light Flirty Flamingo, and I'm going to use the brush tip. I originally started with the bullet tip, and that works fine. It's quite a bit slower. And once I played with this a couple of times, I got comfortable using the brush tip for the flower petals. So there is that. I can hear birds chirping. I haven't heard birds chirping all day. It's been raining so hard today. And the wind was just crazy. I got my hair done this morning, and I'm going to do each set separately because I like to work while the ink is still slightly damp. The rain was slamming the sides of the building. I'm not going to do all of these the same. I'm going to do each one a little bit different. To give it depth. And then when I got home, I saw that the rain had hit every window, both sides of our apartment. We're on the ground floor, so a lot of times the rain never hits our windows, but all windows, and we have tall windows because we have 9-foot ceilings, all of them had been hit from top to bottom. It was craziness. And I'm just throwing a little ring of the Melon Mambo around the base of the petals. And ta-da! See, missed a little spot there. All right, doing the same thing here. See, aren't you glad I already did some of the stamping and die cutting? Just to speed things up a little bit. I really love this stamp set. I really wish it would have carried over into the annual catalog, but it did not. Let's see. Anybody say hi, TJ? How are you? Just odd in general. Everyone seemed to be in a funk. Yeah, that's what's kind of happening here too. We are tired of this weather. And like when I got to my hairdresser's this morning, she's always in a good mood. Always, always, always. And she wasn't in a bad mood, but I could tell something was off for her. And my husband, he came home and he's just done. He's just done with this weather. Of course, he works outside, and so that would do it. Oh, look at that. I started with dark. Hee hee. Oh well, this set of flowers is going to look a little bit different. Let's see. Maybe put the green on. So we are working with Flowering Rain Boots. We are making 3 cards. For every purchase of $35 or more, I will send the make and takes. I cannot stamp any images, so I would just be sending the pre-cut cardstock, and if there's a like the scallop die cut, I can send that, but it wouldn't do me any good to send you this die cut if you didn't have the stamps. So I send the cardstock for you to do your own die cutting of that type of stuff. And then the front of this seed packet kind of needs to match these flowers, doesn't it? So there we go. Maybe I'll do this one right. So light flirty flamingo. Then I will go around it with 1 circle of Melon Mambo around the bottom there. Going to add my bright green center. And then coming back in with my darker, I've done all 3 of these slightly different, but they're going to end up looking pretty much the same. And blend that out just a little bit. All right, that's actually upside down. Ta-da! We are ready. Ooh, I should have stamped my sentiment before I glued these together, but I didn't, so we're going to all hold hands and say a prayer, because we've watched Teah do this before, haven't we? Yes, we have. It doesn't always work out to my advantage, but I am using Photopolymer And I'm going to stamp it right on the front. And I got away with it. Yay. My other ones are stamped on separate pieces of paper. This was the only one that was directly on. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this ribbon, and everybody does this a little bit different. I'll show you how I like to do it, but every demonstrator has a slightly different way of doing this. I like to cut it a little bit longer on each side than the actual front. I cut it and I use tape. That's my method of preference, which evidently I have. There it is. Like I said, my tables are reverse from normal. So then I am coming up at after the third bump. 1, 2, 3, just kind of squeezing that in between those two bumps, taping that down. And just like that. You're doing good. In the middle of moving. Oh my goodness, where are you moving to, TJ? You live in California, right? I believe I've got that correct. Man, I hope that's going well for you. Moving, that's a job. Holy moly. Okay, we have 3 flower pots. And in order for them to look dimensional, I'm going to put one a little higher, one a little lower, and the one that's a little lower is going to have double stacked dimensionals. Yes, dimensionals. That's another story. I was preparing for this and discovered I have very few large dimensionals and I have a whole bunch of little dimensionals. It was like, how did I end up at that point? I just ordered them, but I searched and I looked, and evidently that's really where I'm at. So time to place another order. Break my heart. Leaving California for Colorado. Ooh. Well, I hope that that's a positive and fun move for you. Colorado, so beautiful. Wow. I'm going to snip these. Did you know that your border, after you pull out all of your dimensionals, that you can continue to use this? There is no reason for this to go to waste. And I snipped a whole bunch because I'm going to be using quite a few tonight. All right, I'm going to put one on the bottom. Let's see, is that too wide? Nope. And then I'm going to pull one of these skinny ones up at the top. My ribbon's going to go in between. And I'm going to go ahead and move this close to the edge. It's actually going to go over the edge just a little bit. And of course, I'm slightly crooked, but we're going to roll with it. Now, this one is going to sit a little bit to the front, and I'm going to stack my dimensionals. Let's see. Can you even see what I'm doing? You certainly can't when I drop it on the floor. Oh, gracious. Let's see. Having to turn that. I made these a little too long for the space, so I'm having to turn it. Well, I sure hope that that's a positive move for you. And I hope it all goes safely. Come on. Come on. Come on. That's awesome. That's awesome. We love being closer to our kids. My youngest lives about 30 minutes, 26 minutes from where we live. 26 minutes, like I'm not counting or anything, I'm a grandma. And then I've got another daughter that's up in the Seattle area. Let's see, I want this a little bit farther away so you can see just a little bit of that ribbon in between. Oh, goodness. Okay, there we go. My garbage can was too far away. Then I am going to straddle this one. Another sip of water. Straddle this one around that ribbon. Yeah, so many. Well, you know, I mean, really, during the pandemic, we all kind of came to the realization that being closer to our family would be better, didn't we? When it's possible. It's not always possible. All right. Just about have this part put together. This would go faster, of course, if I didn't have to mess with cutting my frame. Oh, look at that, I got that a little crooked. Just gonna peel that a little bit, and it stuck to my fingernail. That's fun. That's fun. There we go. There we go. All right. So that one's going to sit about like that. All right. So we are ready to put some flowers on here now. Now this pot, I used a single layer of dimensionals. So for the flowers, I'm going to use a single layer of dimensionals. This one is 2 dimensionals, so I'm going to use 2 layers of dimensionals. Make sure I didn't actually use 3. I did not. I used 2. All right. So single. I really had fun making these cards. I can't wait to show them all to you. I think they make a really great little collection. And then the next one, so the next one is going to sit like this as well, but it's going to have 2 dimensionals, making it 2 dimensionals high, but there's actually an overlap right here. Hi, Sonia. Oh, thank you for joining. Yay. I've got all my peeps on here tonight. That makes me happy. So there's 1 layer, 2 layer, and then I'm not sticking it down, I'm keeping my finger there. Trying to decide. I think I'm going to try to put 1 small dimensional right here. And it's only single layer because it's stacking on top of the other flower. All right, accidentally overlapping my pot. There we go. I'm scooted down on top of it now. So there is that part. Then get these dimensionals out of the, or backs out of the way. So how I attached the trowel and the this is a single layer of white cardstock that I used a blending brush to color and from the center out, and then I applied it to a black piece of cardstock that was cut out with the scalloped edge dies. And if I'm not answering the right question, let me know. All right, so here I'm going to use just a piece or a little dabble-do-ya of some adhesive. I'm going to put just a little bit on the back of the handle. Sorry, I realized that my face wasn't near the microphone. And then just a little bit on the back of this middle tine. And just realized I should have already adhered this. Oh, fun times. Fun times. Let me adhere this to the front of the card. The reason it has to be adhered is because that trowel overlaps onto the Coastal Cabana. And we just center that like that, top to bottom, side to side. Uh-oh, that moved a little too easily. Let's hold that down. There we go. Now, this should still be sticky. And I'm just holding that trowel so that because this is up on dimensionals and this is not, it really gives it that dimension of being, you know, at an angle. And then we have our little flower seed packet here. And I'm looking for my brand new roll of mini glue dots. And I'm just going to use one. And I'm just going to lean it against the pot like that. And it's also hanging, oopsie. Okay, did I not? I don't have a glue dot. Let's try that again. It psyched me out. I thought I had it. Now I have it. So it's just leaning against the, yes it is, leaning against the flower pot. Now the only thing that the front of this card is missing is the bow. I'm going to use my handy dandy trusty bow maker. Can't wait for you to see the other two cards too, TJ. I've got a collection of 3 cards tonight. The red thread or connecting element between all 3 cards is this black and white gingham ribbon. With those make and takes, there will also be this video tutorial as well as the link to the blog post for all of the cutting instructions. All right, in this case, the bow is off to one side. How cute is that, right? And we still need to finish the inside of the card. All right, for the inside of the card, I just stamped those 2 sets of flowers again in each opposing corner. So I'm going to use the basic gray. I didn't care for what the black looked like when I stamped these flowers, so that's why I ended up with basic gray. Alright, yeah. Close that up. I think I'm also done with that. So now I can come in, do the exact same thing and color these flowers. Again, I'm using Flirty Flamingo. I went through a couple of different sets of colors before I landed on this with the Coastal Cabana. I kind of think what was making it difficult was that I had used Cajun Craze for the pots. If I had used something else, it might have gone a little easier. So what I will do is I will send scraps for, well, this would be a piece of the cardstock that I would send, but then I would also send scraps for you to stamp and do your own die cuts. You can stamp that whatever color you want. Your pot can be any color. Coming in with my Melon Mambo and just making a little circle around my inner. And then coming back with my dark Flirty Flamingo. This is how I should have done all the others, but I got out of sync earlier. The reason I used that little bit of Melon Mambo is I wanted something ever so slightly darker around that ring towards the inner circle of the flower. And it blended nicely. All right, so I can add my Granny Apple green centers now. All right. Are you using markers, or the markers you are using? Oh yes, these are our Stampin Blends, and they are an alcohol marker, and they come in combo packs. So they come with a light and a dark in a combo pack. I love, love, love them. I have them in every color that's available, including the neutral or natural skin tones that we now carry. I have all of those as well. And I realized yesterday that I'm actually needing to replace some of my pens because I've used them up. They were some of the original colors that I got. All right, so that is now ready to go on the inside of the card. With those make and takes, I will also send a blank envelope. a matching, or not a matching envelope, but a the correct size. I actually had meant to pull those so that I could show you how I would decorate them. I will try to remember to do that at the end. But whether or not I remember to do that at the end, I will definitely be sending an envelope for each card. All right, there is card number 1. Ta-da! I'm going to set that off to one side. And we will bring in card number 2. So here is card number 2. This is actually slightly off center, so I will be lowering it ever so slightly. I just realized what I didn't cut for this piece. That's all right. When I get to it, I need to cut those 2 pieces right there. So this card was a side closure. This one is also a side closure. So I'll set that right there. Yeah, the Stampin' Blend markers are pretty amazing. I got those before I got the Stampin' Write markers, which are the regular ink. Okay, so I'm going to bring this up close so that you can take a peek, see. So here I've used that stitched greenery die to make an impression on this piece of Granny Apple Green, and I have matted it with black. Those 2 are already cut and ready to go, so I'm going to go ahead and adhere those together right now so you can see what I'm doing. Whoops. So the dimensions will all be on the blog, but they're pretty standard dimensions. There's nothing too crazy. Come on, slide for me. I'm going to turn that upside down, the black layering piece. Yeah, it does. It makes that green just pop really pretty, doesn't it? I'm going to turn that over and give that a nice little squeeze. And then I'm going to adhere this to my card front. So I'm going to adhere it flat down. And the reason I'm adhering it and not popping it up on dimensionals is I'm using dimensionals underneath all these other pieces. Yeah, I really love all 3 of these cards. They were so much fun to make. So 3 Thursdays per month. Okay, let me scoot this up. I will be doing the 3 cards and doing the same special, and then 1 Thursday per month I will keep mystery stamping. I haven't decided which Thursday that will be yet. All right, so that is adhered down. So we have a piece of vellum cardstock that I have used pulling it out, detail, let's see, the name went out of my head. Let me grab it. I want to tell you the right thing. These are new in the new annual catalog. And they are, I want to call them the stitched detail dies, but I think that's the name of the old set. These are the stylish shapes. Stylish shapes. You find those on page 175. So I just used the biggest one. And if you were to look close, you can actually see a little stitched edge on that. that off to one side. All right. So for this piece, I did do the same. Everything has already been stamped and die cut, but I'm gonna run through the steps of the stamping. So for this, for the pail, I'm using Smoky Slate. I've covered everything up here. And this just barely fits on my D block. I just love how beautiful this image stamps. And just like that, it's absolutely stunning and beautiful. You can even see the little dots for the spout. I love it. Okay, so that is that piece. Then I used 2 sets of the stems and 2 sets of the tulips. I'm just going to stamp one of each for you to see that. And I've got everything already stamped and cut over here. I used the Granny Apple Green. I did experiment with using the Garden Green, and it was okay, but I didn't love it. So look at those. Isn't that pretty? You can see those leaves and those stems. And then lastly, I'm going to stamp a set of tulips. And I used Polished Pink for that. Polished Pink is one of our in colors from last year. So this color will only be around for another year. It's a beautiful, beautiful pink. It's a nice true pink. Let's see. Am I still in the camera lens? Yep. Now I could have just now stamped that on top of here so they were all one flat image. I've actually stamped it so that I could place the dies on top, which I've already done. Let me grab those and just show you. These line up like this, and then I use a piece of Post-it tape to hold it in place when I run it through the dies, or run it through the cutting machine, die cutting machine. Put that away. And now I can move this piece of scrap out of the way through the magic of television. Ha 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 ha. Here are 2 sets of tulips and a watering can, just to save a little time. So now you're going to watch me do a little bit of slicing and dicing and creating kind of a, oh yes, thank you, Andy. I didn't see that you had popped in. Thank you, thank you. You've got my back. So I am going to, I could, if I wanted, I could set the tulips on top like this, or I could set them behind like this. I actually like it to look like it's coming right up out of the can. So I'm going to trim this down. I'm trimming just that little back portion of the opening off, like that. And then I'm just going to clip that sharp tip, softened that up. Now, I am going to cut apart. So, let's see. This is actually set up so that you can, let me close this, so that you can put these in the rain boots so that they're coming up out of the rain boots like this. Or you can stagger 2 pots and have them coming up out of the pots like that, and the other pot would be sitting over here. So that's why these are offset like that. I'm using that to create a fuller bouquet. So I'm actually going to just fussy cut that one little edge like that. And then I'm just going to fix the two ends. There we go. So there's that piece. Then I'm going to do that again, except I'm actually going to cut this into 3 pieces. And I'm just doing that so that I can create a fuller bouquet. Super easy, not complicated. And let's see, I want to cut this in a way that makes sense. Okay, so these 2 I just cut off and they go right there. These 3 go right here, and then there's 2 more stems right here, and then these are 2 leaves. So I'm just going to cut this. I'm going to layer it in such a way you'll never see this. So I'm just going to cut this right in between. And now I'm going to start, let me cut these apart too. So round that off. Trim this up. This is the hardest part of this card. And it's not hard. It just is what it is. And you could do a single bunch of tulips. It's just, I wanted to kind of go over the top a little bit, because that's what I do. So there, and there. All right. Oh, and then I need to cut those 2 apart. Anybody got any questions? TJ, what's your weather been like? Have you had any crazy weather like those of us in either Oklahoma or Washington State? And how about you, Sonia? How's Montreal treating you? Okay, so now I am going to use some mini glue dots. And I'm going to put one behind the first flower, the middle flower, and the last flower. So that's for this first bunch. And you can see it wanted to stick already. Oh, stuck to me better. There we go. Now I'm, oh, come on, please. All right. You're heading into the 90s for the next few days. Well, yikes. Definitely the opposite of what we've got going on in Washington. All right, attaching a few more here. So I'm just going to go to the, I'm going to attach everything up. So are you guys already starting on fire season in California? I bet you are. Okay, I didn't get I assumed I got a glue dot, I didn't. There we go. So there's that. I'm going to add a couple more glue dots here. Which part of Colorado are you moving to? My husband and I, we live in Vancouver, Washington. And we are contemplating relocating to the Tri-Cities area. Okay, 2 more sets here. We're almost there, friends. There we go. And I see one little thing I want to snip off just in case I need it snipped before I assemble my bouquet. One more set here. All right. And most likely my bouquet will not turn out to be exactly the same, but I'm going to give it a shot because I really like how the first one turned out. So I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive at the base of the flowers that will be in the front. And then I'm going to move this until I feel like those flowers look like they fill up that opening of that can. You see that? So that's how I'm doing that. I just lost 20 multi-million-dollar homes. Holy man, wow. I am sorry to hear that. That is devastating. Whew. Before I put the rest of these flowers in the bouquet, I'm going to stick some dimensionals on the back of these flowers. Because once I add the rest of the flowers, it's going to be difficult to do that. Is that one going to show? Nope. Wow, that is so sad. That means I need to quit complaining about the rain hitting my windows, don't I? Kind of puts things in perspective. And then I'm going to put some other dimensionals on my watering can. Oops, man, I'm getting close to the edge of everything tonight. There we go. Man, that really does put everything in perspective. There are a lot of people going through a lot of things that we know nothing about. All right. Yes, that's a lot of dimensionals. Oh, shoot. I shouldn't have put this one right here yet. Can I get that off? I can. All right. Now I'm going to come in and just start applying, and I'm going to use mini glue dots to do this. So I'm going to start figuring out the best place to enhance. Get rid of that. Oops. Let's stick this over here. Oh, dimensional in the way. Of course there is. See if I can move that. Yep, I can. Try that again. I've got things sticky on the front and sticky on the back. There we go. And two more to add. It's funny, this didn't feel like it took this long when I did it the first time. And one more. Isn't that a beautiful bouquet? And something like that. All right, so now I still need to come in here and remove those backs off of those dimensionals that I put on that front layer of flowers. It is going to help hold everything together. Let's see if I can get to it. I can feel it. There we go. All right, now I can add another dimensional right back here. Maybe two, kind of hold things together. There we are. Now, there it is. So now we need to place this circle, and I really want it placed better than this one was. This one was a little bit high, so I want to bring it down just a little bit more centered than this one was. See, that one was just a little bit high. So I'm going to tear off enough mini glue dots for 3 dots. I'm going to flip this over and apply those dots in a straight line. Just like that. And, oh, and they didn't stick. That was just mean. There we go. Another one here somewhere. There we go. All right. So, as I was saying, I would like to make it a little bit lower. I'm going to center from side to side, and I'm bringing it like that. Now that should be better. Remove all of these dimensional backs. I think I'm almost done. There we go. And make sure, yeah, make sure my card's opening the correct direction. And see, this hides all of those mini glue dots. There. How pretty is that? Now, here is my sentiment tag. We are going to stamp the Live Life in Full Bloom. Are you liking this? Yay, I'm so glad. And I can't wait to show you the last one. The last one's cute too. All right. Live life in full bloom. So now, like I mentioned at the beginning, I realized I had forgotten to cut these 2 strips, so I'm going to grab that. My scraps are right next to me, so I won't be but a moment, and my cutting board is right next to me. So there's a piece of the polished pink. Just need a piece of just need a piece of black. Here's my black. And set these aside for just a second while I pull my cutting board up here. Try not to lose anything. You might not be able to see the bottom because I'm not going to relocate absolutely everything, but these were, I know that they were a 1/2 inch wide, and I'm going to go with 2 3/4 inches long. So a 1/2 inch wide. Two 3/4 inches long. I really did try to make it so you didn't have to watch me do any cutting or die cutting, but best intentions. All right, that wasn't too much of a diversion. So set all this back up. All right, so what I did with these is I just cut the edges diagonal on both. And then I adhered the black and the polished pink to each other. So I staggered them about like that, maybe a little less. There we go. Then I'm trying to remember, did I use a dimensional? I did. I used 2 dimensionals right in the center of this. and applied that. I don't feel like that's quite straight, or it's as straight as it's going to get. And I'm going to put 2 more dimensionals. I know, I'm dimensional crazy tonight, aren't I? And now that I've lowered this circle, I'm able to overlap these a little bit more, which is what I wanted to do. Like that. So cute. Now a ribbon. I need a ribbon. And the inside was, if I remember correctly, was easy. Yeah, I just stamped the stems and the tulips directly flat. Ribbon, ribbon. The last card, I think, is the easiest one of all. Which is why I made it be the last one. All right, got myself a nice tight little bow there. And a mini glue dot. And I set it right there. Trim my ends. Now I can stamp the inner card. How cute, right? Are you guys liking this as much as I am? I love it. I think it's adorable. We will start with the stems. And let's see, where did I put my sheet? I'm going to stamp off the edge a little bit. My Granny Apple Green. La la. Now the tulips. This card is almost done. Tulips, tulips. And with the photopolymer, with any luck, I will be able to line them up. If I don't, I happen to have my Stampin' Right marker here to save the day. And there we go. Close this up. Now I can mount this. Okay, so I'm not gonna lie, it drives me a little crazy that this is overlapped, but I'm already almost at an hour and a half, and so I need to move on to the next card. But I'm going to show you on the inside of the other card how I fixed the opposite issue. And I could have just flipped over the card and cardstock and restamped it. It's not horrible. I've certainly seen worse. There we go. You got any ideas, any guesses on what color my next card is? All right. So there is card number 2. And I can move these out of the way. Oh, that's right. I told you I was going to show you how I fixed this card. This one, I was actually a little bit too far away. So I used the bullet tip or the writing tip of my Stampin' Write marker in Granny Apple Green, and I extended my stamps. So that was my fix. All right, so there is card number 2. And here is card number 3. You like it? It's kind of cute. All right, and I'm just going to jump right in and get started. So this one is a top fold. So I'm going to start by burnishing. I'm going to take that away for a minute. I'm going to start by burnishing my score line. I am going to take some designer series paper and I'm going to adhere that centered. This is from the new perfectly penciled designer series paper in the new annual catalog. I've already used this paper on a couple of projects. Okay, let's see if I can get that straightened out a little bit. Looks about right. Turn that upside down and give that a little smoosh. I'm going to use dimensionals to pop up this Daffodil Delight on the front. I've already stamped and die cut the boots and the flowers. I just need to color the flowers. So this is Poppy Parade. This is the perfectly penciled DSP. This is Daffodil Delight. So I'm just visually centering that. Then I'm going to take the rain boots, which I already stamped, and they, just like the pail or anything else, I stamped these in the smoky slate. I'm going to pop those up on dimensionals. Just one layer of dimensionals. And I know I'm doing that kind of heavy. If you were here at the beginning, you know that I'm running low on the large or standard size dimensionals. I have lots of the minis. And watching me do this, you'd be like, yeah, well, I could see why you're running out. Let's see, maybe make that just a little bit higher. All right, so there's my boots. I'm going to bring in the flowers that you saw me color or stamp and color the from card number 1. In card number 2, I'm just using 2 colors. I'm going to color first with the light Poppy Parade. And then I'll go back and I will add dark Poppy Parade to the centers. Oh, I just realized what I don't have. Oh, it's because I stamp it directly. Never mind. I was thinking of the seed packet that's on the inside, but that's directly stamped, not die cut. So some nice bright flowers. Here in the Pacific Northwest, our flowers are taking a hit because of this cold weather and damp weather. My husband said several of the flats of flowers at work have end rot already. All right. Come in with my bullet tip and color the center. And then I'm just going to draw 1 circle around. Then I'll take that light again and just kind of slightly blend out that circle onto the petals. In a minute. All right. Looks a little bit harsh. It will lighten up as it dries. If I just bumped the camera, I apologize. All right. Sorry, I was looking for my dimensionals. So on one set, I am going to put 2 dimensionals towards the center, 1 layer. These flowers I envision coming out of the top of the back boot. So I'm using that like that. Now I'm going to use 1 dimensional here and 3 dimensionals here because I've got 1 layer of dimensionals that's underneath here as well. So I have quite the steps taking place. So I'm going to use 1 dimensional here and 1, 2, 3. About like that. Now I need to stamp my sentiment. on this piece here. And I'm going to stamp the rain or shine, I'm here for you, since we're using the rain boots. Okay, Kathy, thank you for joining. Everybody, I hear somebody at the door. I'll be right back. Oh my gosh, my friends, I'm so sorry. Oh, forgive me for that. Okay, I was about to stamp. Sorry, I totally got thrown off just now with somebody being very insistent at our front door. Okay, rain or shine. And I'm looking for my block. There it is. Oh my goodness, everybody, I'm so sorry for stepping away. I've never had to do that before like that. John wasn't answering, and it was obviously very insistent, so then I started worrying that it was him. He's been pulling really long days. He was asleep. He didn't even hear it. All right. You know, I think I can do a little better than that. I'm going to flip that over and give it another try. And that's funny. He woke up now. All right. Now I am going to use the label, this is called the Label Something Punch. I'm trying to remember the name of it. This is not new. It's one that's been around. I'm going to trim off. Kathy, if you're still on, I sure meant to wish you a happy anniversary already, and I just now realized I haven't done that. Happy 10 years to you and Ron. Okay, I am going to use there we go, like that. And that. There we go. Now that is ready for a couple of, okay, it's driving me crazy. I need to be able to tell you the name of this punch. It is Banner's Pick-a-Punch. You would have thought that that would have rolled off my tongue a little bit better. It was irritating to have somebody come to the door like that. I shouldn't be irritated. But I am a little bit, to be honest. Oh well. Let it go, Teah, let it go, let it go. All right, so here is this, and this is going to extend over into, I just realized I didn't put any of my dots on any of these. They're kind of cute without, to be honest. Okay, I need a bow on the front here and then stamp the inside and we're done. I'm looking for my bow maker. There it is. All right, we are so close to done. I hope you've liked these cards. Isn't this just the cutest stamp set? And the mini glue dots are right in front of me, no doubt. There we are. And I'm just going to go right in between the two bouquets of flowers and give this a nice little trim. I like to bring my two down next to each other and aim for approximately the same length. All right, so there's the front of the card. Now the inside of the card, I just used the seed packet. So that is in basic gray. And I just stamped it, oops, in diagonal on the two corners, two bottom corners. So there's one, and there's one. And then I used my blender pens. To color those flowers. So I've got the light Poppy Parade and the dark Poppy Parade. Ooh, let's see. And I don't have to make these match exactly to the outside. I don't have to do all the layers like I did before. Okay, what's going on here? It might be that the shadow is throwing me off. Here we go. And then the dark Poppy Parade. adhere that to the Daffodil Delight. Center, in theory. There we go. And adhere this to the inside. Got a little lost control there of my ink, or of my adhesive. And I'll pull this up and get that nice and centered. And there we go. So my friends, we have now made all 3 cards. What do you think? Do you like them? I hope so. I hope so. I hope so. Well, thank you for joining me tonight. I will be posting these pictures on my Facebook page, and we'll be putting the dimensions on my blog, as mentioned before. Any purchase of $35 or more will get you a set of one of each of these make and takes, and you will need the stamp set in order to complete it, but you know, I'll send the scrap cardstock for you to do your own stamping. So if you want to switch it out for something else, you can certainly do that. And then if you bump that up to a $50 purchase, you get the May bundle, tutorial bundle, and you get your name in a drawing for the mini cut and emboss machine. So thank you for joining me tonight. Big hugs, everybody. Bye-bye.